So each side gets to make closing arguments. State goes first, then the defense, and then the state gets a rebuttal. So we've got Georgia Cappleman for the state making the closing argument, and she starts out also on this theme of whether the divorce was in fact contentious. And honestly, I wish they had sort of moved on from this question, but this is how they started. Let's go with SOT 18, and then we'll talk about it when it's over.
Well, this is Dan Markell. He's the victim in this case. A son, a brother, a colleague, a mentor, a professor, a friend, but most of all, a father, an Abba, a dad, a dedicated and loving father whose downfall was brought about by the fact that his number one priority was maximizing his time with those little boys in the wake of a bitter divorce from their mother. Defense called witnesses to come in here and give you an expert opinion that his divorce and the subsequent litigation was not contentious. Not contentious to whom? It was contentious to Dan Markell.
All right, Dave Aronberg, Florida lawman. What is your take on the theme that we're finally seeing coming from the prosecutor? I've been critical of both sides because I've not seen much of a theme, but in their close, in my opinion, they gave what would have been a pretty decent opening argument going through all the evidence somewhat in chronological order. But I'm curious to know your thoughts, Dave.
I thought the prosecution did a good job throughout. I think at the end of the closing argument, they went on a little too long. After an hour, you're going to lose jurors. And I wasn't in the courtroom, but I had heard that some of them were doing the yawning thing and starting to tune out. I think that the die was cast going into closings. I don't think the closings are going to influence these jurors. I think they got who these people are. And I don't think they like the Adelsons. I know they don't like Charlie, who ended up not testifying because the prosecution somehow got in a very damaging phone call between Charlie and his mom, where Charlie talks about how he won't date women over 25 years old, or that if even a 37-year-old Victoria's Secret model is too old for him. I mean, talk about poisoning the jury pool. And Donna, with just the way that she wanted to dress her kids, the kids in Hitler uniforms, that kind of stuff means they don't like this woman. So then the question is the evidence sufficient? And there's plenty of evidence here. Circumstantial evidence can be just as good as direct evidence, and there is direct evidence here. And I think the strongest direct evidence is the license plate. Why did she have Danny Markell's license plate? Her ex-son-in-law, who divorced her daughter 2 years prior, why did she have his make, model of his car, and license plate in her planner? So I think this case rises and falls on the evidence, and the evidence is strong.
It sure does. And before I get to Jonna real quick, can we play SOT 20, which is part of Cappleman's closing, where she talks about this call following the now infamous bump?
What she does say on the wire, which by the way is direct evidence, I know y'all like that, some direct evidence. When Charlie asked Donna on State's 99 call A,
does it involve me or? Well, what's that?
Probably the children.
does it involve me or other people? Well, probably both of us. That is direct evidence. If anyone in that jury room wants to acquit her, make them tell you how that is not a confession.
Make them tell you how that was not a confession. 30 seconds, Jonna, your take.
That was a very powerful piece of her closing argument. And, this is a case where maybe it's not going to be won or lost on closing argument. If a jury is tuning out during closing, they probably already have an idea of what they're going to do in this case. And it's just a matter of formality at this point.